What's up, citizens? Today I want to give you guys a little bit of a walkthrough through my home gym here. My lovely wife, who's behind the camera, decided to volunteer her art studio and workshop in order for us to bring a bunch of crap home from Healthy Baller, buy a few things, and put together this home gym. So I want to walk you guys through what I feel are the essential tools that I have in this gym and also what you can get that's affordable. So let's start with the squat rack. The squat rack I got right here is Valor Fitness, and I got it on Amazon for 200 bucks, so I'll put this up on the screen. And I'm actually pretty happy with this thing. I've squatted up to about 350 with it and it feels pretty solid. So you've got these safeties right here, and obviously these safeties aren't going to do a lot because you have to stand further back from it, but it's got this adjustable height and it goes pretty high, so you could squat up to being about 6'10", maybe even 7 foot. You can also do bench press, and so it's quite flexible, and then it's also really solid. So like I said, I've squatted pretty heavy with it. You just have to have enough weight on the bottom part to make it feel solid. This is 200 bucks US. And I believe they're sold out now, but I'll put that up on the screen for you guys. Now I have a Rogue Ohio bar. I also have a transformer bar because this is a lot easier for me to squat with due to some shoulder issues that I have. And then I have an Elite FTS Swiss bar. This is a Cambridge Swiss bar. And so that's just my own personal preference. If you just had to have one thing, I would definitely recommend a Rogue Ohio bar, Texas Power bar, something along those lines. A good solid all-round bar. I do wish this bar had a little bit more whip in it for deadlifts. It's very stiff, but if I had to have one bar to choose, that would be this bar. Now I want to show you guys this slide board. Slide boards are pretty cool. We're going to throw up a few exercises on the screen here for you to see. Slide boards are a really neat tool. I got this on Perform Better and it's about 100 bucks. You can also just use a slider at home. So if you have a furniture slider, you can do almost all of the same exact exercises. It won't be quite as smooth, but it'll still work really well. We've got this Sorinex roller here, and the Sorinex roller is very similar to the slide board. You can do almost all of the same equipment or all the same exercises with it, except the difference is that you can tie a band to it in order to increase resistance. I've gotten a lot of questions about power blocks. So these are the Power Block 24s, and they exchange weights very easily. All you have to do is pull that pin and it'll go up or down. Now for 24 pounds, I would say these power blocks are just fine. But I will say that once you get up to 60, 70, 80 pounds, that big rectangular microwave power block thing can be a little bit cumbersome. So I don't love them, and that's actually why I've never purchased the heavier power blocks for my home setup. But we've had these for years. We actually got these as a wedding present, and they've gotten tons of use, like literally hundreds of workouts. We both really like them. Now for heavier dumbbells, I've got the old school 1-inch plates. So that's the opening on the plate. And then I also have an easy bar for it. This dumbbell right here, I have 25-pound plates, and so this dumbbell is about 75 pounds. This dumbbell right here is 45 pounds, and obviously these exchange, so we can switch weights in and out pretty easily, and I can get pretty much all of the heavy dumbbell work in that I want. I just have to do a lot of it one-sided, so I'm doing one-arm bench press, one-arm overhead press, that sort of thing, but it still works, and it's very versatile. I can also hit my triceps and biceps. Not that I do that very often, but with the easy bar, and I have a lot of options, a lot of flexibility. Now, people ask quite a bit about kettlebells. What kind of kettlebells should they get? If you had one option, I would say get a heavy kettlebell. We have 60 and 70 pound kettlebells here. That's it. Louisa uses them for her squats and deadlifts. I use them for warming up, for single leg deadlifts, for heavier kettlebell type movements like Turkish get-ups. And so I really like the heavier kettlebells, but for lighter movements, I personally would rather have a dumbbell than a kettlebell if I had to choose one. Dumbbells are just a little bit more versatile. Now, A landmine, in my opinion, is a very versatile and helpful home gym piece of equipment if you just have one thing. So the landmine, obviously you connect the barbell into it. You can do a ton of upper body and lower body pressing and rowing type of movements that otherwise you would need a whole set of kettlebells or dumbbells for. So if you have a tight budget, but you want to lift heavy, the best things to get would be a good barbell. You don't want those cheap barbells that don't bend at all, because trust me, once you get up to 250, 300 pounds, they really don't feel good on your back. You would want some unilateral squat stands, like the ones that I have. The Rogue ones are 350, whereas mine are 200, and I decided I didn't need the Rogue ones, and I'm pretty happy with my purchase. You would get enough weight so that you can challenge yourself and get a training effect. And then one of these little landmine attachments right here, because you can throw a plate down and then you can do all of your unilateral exercises. You can get your rows, your presses. You can do a lot of stuff with the landmine. Now I have this single 100-pound plate, and the reason I have that is because I also have a sled that's outside, just a drag sled. Funny story, I bought this 100-pound plate on Craigslist off of a woman probably my mom's age, and she said that her son left it in the closet downstairs and moved to the West Coast, and she couldn't get it out of the closet. So I bought it off Craigslist from her for like 50 bucks and showed up, and she was like, if you can just move this thing, it's all yours. And I was like, all right, sweet. So I want to show you guys our mount up here. So Louis, you can come on over here and we'll kind of show the mount up here. Now, our mount has 2 hooks, and it's nice because you can leave the TRX up there and still do band work as well. Our mount, it's got 3 screws that go into this beam here. So you want to make sure that whatever you're putting it in is pretty secure. And then from there, we can do all of our TRX exercises, and then we can also hook up bands. One of the biggest hacks that I love for using bands at home is to attach carabiners. So you'll notice I have 2 bands here, but I have carabiners on both ends. So if I use both carabiners on this handle, and then I attach this carabiner up to the top, I've got double the weight for my band. And that's the way that I can continue to try to challenge myself, even though I'm using bands and I don't have access to a cable machine or a pulley system. So that's a really good hack. Make sure that your home gym has some carabiners and you can kind of MacGyver things and rig things up however you like. Now, a lot of people have asked me about the KBox, right? They're like, oh, I see you can squat with this thing, you can deadlift with it, you can set it up sideways and do rows with it. Should I get one for home? I'm gonna be totally honest with you guys. This is a really expensive piece of equipment, and it's very specialized. It's primarily made for power production and power absorption. Its best use is for training athletes and for people that really want to produce and absorb a lot of force. I don't use it every day, but I do like the fact that I use it. I also didn't pay for this machine, and so that's a big factor here, because we work in a facility where they want to give us stuff in order to improve their own visibility. So the KBox, I believe these are running around $4,000. I would rather outfit a home gym with a lot of different stuff than drop 4 G's into one of these bad boys. But I do love the KBox, and it is a great piece of equipment. So if you have a budget for it and you're really interested in it, as I was for years before I actually ended up getting one, then go for it. The KBox allows you to do pretty much any exercise that you can do with a cable, as long as you can anchor it correctly. A few other little things that people have asked me about, the DC blocks are one of them. So these are 2-inch blocks, they're stackable, and they're also really heavy duty. The great thing about the DC blocks is that they're blocks, and so they're made to have weight drop on them. Now, if I didn't have a good mat like I do, and I'll tell you guys about that in a second, I would use the DC block as something to cushion between the kettlebell and the concrete. Because if I were doing kettlebell swings or any kettlebell work and I started to get tired and set the kettlebell down a little bit faster, a little bit harder on this concrete, I would eventually crack this concrete. And so the DC block is really strong, and it's going to disperse that weight so that we don't put cracks in our garage floor. That's always nice. Now, I'll tell you, from being a gym rat, gym flooring is extremely important. Now, this is what we have on the floor at Healthy Baller. This is a very high quality gym floor. You don't have to have something this nice, but do not skimp on your gym flooring, or at least on one nice deadlift mat. Don't expect to be able to deadlift heavy weight on one of those cheap Amazon puzzle piece gym flooring mats that you buy. It's not gonna hold up, and it'll just completely deform in a matter of weeks. Couple other things we have here. I've got a 20-pound slam ball. Slam balls are nice. They're not gonna mess your floor up. Good way to get a little cardio work in. I've got a versatile weight vest that goes from 20 up to 40 pounds, and you can actually go lower than 22, but we don't really use it for that. Some push-up handles. We've got our sturdy elliptical that Louisa got from her friend's mom. We got it for free, so we're like, hey, let's take it. This is a high quality, professional grade elliptical, and so I like it for steady state cardio. We've got more straps and carabiners, always helpful. Got some Team 4 Core crossover symmetry style bands. Right, we've got hooks so that we can hang up everything and stay relatively organized, close to my heart. Got a good quality jump rope. So this is a TRX jump rope. It's got good ball bearings on it, so you can do double unders very easily. I highly recommend a good quality jump rope if you're trying to get into skipping rope on your own. We've got a few different hip circle style bands, a few different of these pull-up assist style bands. Now, if you're gonna invest in bands, I would recommend investing in this kind of band, the long pull-up assist band. With this band, you can use carabiners and handles like I showed earlier. You can set up a lot of different types of exercises. These are Perform Better brand bands because that's just who we buy our equipment from at Healthy Baller. Other companies that make really good bands, Elite FTS, Rogue, I would stay away from a lot of the cheaper Amazon stuff, again, because it's just not as good quality. And the worst thing that could happen with a band is it snaps and hits you in the eye. People have literally lost their eyes from that. So I would not invest in really cheap bands if you're gonna use them on a daily basis. Our TRX pad is another really nice piece of equipment. I know you're probably laughing at me right now, but this is high density fiber, right? So this is something that I can't even compress that with 220 pounds jumping on it. So this is great to put my knees on. I don't need a big long yoga mat. I can just use this TRX pad for pretty much all of my exercises where I get down onto my knees. What else do we have, Louisa? That's it. I think that's everything. We have Pro Lock collars here, and the reason that I have these is because the threaded mechanism of them allows them to cinch on smaller and bigger barbells. Because what you'll notice is that some of the specialty bars, so like the Elite FTS bar behind me, for example, the sleeve isn't machined, and so it's not a perfect fit for a plate. And what they'll do is they'll actually make the bars slightly smaller because they want to err on the side of a plate being able to fit on it instead of the bar being a little bit too big. So then you'll have these collars that are too slippery, and that can actually be dangerous, especially if you're squatting with a couple 100 pounds of weight. The last thing you want is for it to slide off. So these Pro Lock collars are, I think they're $60 or $70. They're not cheap, but they're the only pair of collars you'll ever need. They won't break or wear down, and you can use them with all of your barbells. So if you have one set of collars for home, I would definitely recommend Pro Lock, and you can get them customized as well. My 2 PT students ago, Andy Deck, he got me custom Pro Lock collars for his going away gift after his clinical. One of the best gifts I've ever gotten. If you guys like watching content about gym equipment, gym exercises, and learning more about exercise in general, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Feel free to check out the description below the video. I'm going to try to link some of this equipment, or if you have any questions, ask in the comment section and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. I hope this helped you guys put together your garage gym setup. Thanks for watching.